What's up, everybody? Daniel Bird. I go to Broward College, and for a banned books week, I'll be reading two poems from Shel Silverstein's book, "A Light in the Attic." This book was banned first in 1985 in Wisconsin, and they're pretty short, so I'm just gonna read two poems. The first one's "How Not to Have to Dry the Dishes." If you have to dry the dishes, such an awful, boring chore. If you have to dry the dishes, instead of going to the store. If you have to dry the dishes and you drop it on the floor, maybe they won't let you dry the dishes anymore. So that was the first one. Now this one's a little longer. It's called Rock and Roll Band. If we were a rock and roll band, we'd travel all over the land. We'd play and we'd sing and wear spangly things if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band and we were up there on the stand, the people would hear us and love us and cheer us. Hooray for that rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, then we have a million fans. We giggle and laugh and sign autographs if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, the people would all kiss our hands. We'd be millionaires and have extra long hair if we were a rock and roll band. But we ain't no rock and roll band. We're just seven kids in the sand, with homemade guitars and pails and jars and drums with potato chip cans. Just seven kids in the sand, talking and waving our hands, and dreaming and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be grand if we were a rock and roll band? So I thought, it'd be important to read these two poems for banned books because I grew up reading poems like this by Shel Silverstein, and I think that all kids should be able to, read his poems freely and with no restrictions. So hope you enjoyed listening to him, and thanks.